What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. I got a few emails asking me already, and this is going to piggyback off of some of the stuff that I think Jason Blahat actually picked apart this individual's video too. I think I saw something about him and Jeff Seed. I don't know how to say this guy's fucking name. Them arguing. So Ian McCarthy, who has Lifting for Life. And before you guys start, oh my God, here we go, another Ian McCarthy thing. That's not what it is. It's not what this is about. I watched Ian's video and thought that, and I've seen the Jeff Seed video, whatever it is. I watched Ian's video and I thought, you know, and he actually breaks it down pretty well and he makes a lot of good points. And I think what's getting really misunderstood, and I think that's exactly what it is a misunderstanding, is there's some semantics that are being thrown around that, you know, I think Jeff is meaning one thing and saying another. Now, Ian and Jason are very technical. They're very scientifically based. They're very by the textbook. You know, they know their shit when it comes to how this works, how that works, and how to apply this and how to apply that. Now, Jeff doesn't. Jeff is more bro, okay, which I consider myself like bro science mix. I'm not a big science guy, but I do understand that it has to have something to do with it, but I don't put all my eggs in one basket. So in that aspect, I'm a little bit different. I'm kind of a hybrid of both. And, you know, the things that Jeff said, where he said, you know, he wakes up in the morning and he eats because it's a very catabolic point during the day, and you need to eat right away to stop that. Now, it's a very bro way of thinking, and it may or may not be true that you're actually catabolic. And Ian was actually stating during his video something that I said that I got blasted for about the positive protein amino balance, or whatever it is, throughout the day. So you could actually be burning fat or gaining muscle throughout the day at different times, depending on how, you know, what's going on with your metabolism and what's happening throughout that day. Now, here's what I find interesting. Although Ian's right that, you know, the plus 10 protein basically over the course of like that 24 hours or whatever means that you're in a positive nitrogen balance, which means you're actually building muscle. And when you wake up in the morning, you're not necessarily in a super catabolic state. Now, growth hormone is very high. We all know growth hormone is very anti-catabolic. It also mobilizes fat. It's very high in the morning when you wake up. So tests have shown. Doesn't mean it's like that for everyone. But you now have Jeff saying, well, I do this, I do that, I do this. And this is why. Now, he may not have the exact mechanisms why, but what he's doing is working. And somebody say, well, he's on drugs. A lot of people are on a lot of drugs, and they don't even look like they're on drugs. They don't look like him. Some of them say, oh, genetics. Yes, genetics has a lot to do with it. But it's these little things that Jeff is doing, no matter how he thinks about it. You know, he may be getting up in the morning, eating right away. He may be pushing himself somehow recovery-wise into a positive nitrogen balance right away, and that actually may add up for him genetically over the course of a week, may add up to more muscle tissue and less, you know, muscle breakdown over a week. And although, you know, he's not stating the correct technical terms, it's working. You know what I mean? So I find it interesting how all the guys that are willing to do things that are that extra little bit, like a lot of people say, well, this doesn't matter, that doesn't matter, all this stuff doesn't matter. But those little details matter, and usually the people doing them look better than the ones that are not doing them. Now, science aside, why do you do these things? Because you want to be better. However you found out about how to do them or you figured out how to do them, doesn't fucking matter. If you're doing them and you look better than the people that are not doing them, something's going on. And that's straight across the board. And like I said, this is not for everybody. Everybody doesn't have to do the same things to get the same results, but those little details make a huge difference regardless of how the actions actually, or how the scientific actions actually work. Now, Ian also spoke about, like, throughout the nighttime, your 6 to 8 hour fasting, you're not going to drop into that much of a catabolic state. Probably true. I mean, the body is meant to go fast at times without going catabolic, but eventually it will go catabolic. But, you know, he was also talking about whether or not Jeff, you know, would wake up in the middle of the night to eat. Now, here's something that myself, people like Jay Cutler, and other people have actually done. We've actually gotten up in the middle of the night. I was more for doing shakes than eating, but those guys actually got up during the middle of the night. And it's no secret that these guys were some of the biggest guys around. You know, and you can say, oh, it's all drugs. All the other guys chasing these guys were taking all the fucking drugs too. So why is it they were able to just go so far ahead of the pack? Because they were willing to do the things that were hard and they were willing to do the things that others won't do. Like getting up in the middle of the night to eat sucks. But then again, the people that are doing those little details that are the extra little 1% more than the person that says it doesn't really matter as long as your calories are in by the end of the day, those are guys are beating out the other guys. And again, when it boils down to it, everybody screams, drugs, drugs, drugs. The calories in, calories out guys are doing drugs too. How are these guys still consistently looking better, getting better results, and beating the other guys? Because it's those little details. Now, I'm not saying that you need to get up in the middle of the night and eat a steak, but my weight would not go up past the 250-pound mark unless I was doing those meals in the middle of the night. Now, when I was up to about 270-something pounds, I also benched a clean 500-pound bench press in the gym and did 405 for 10 reps, which is, you know, for me, I was never a big guy when I was younger, and I was on drugs. I mean, even though I was on drugs, no matter how much I took, until I started doing these other little detailed things, my body didn't progress. As you get bigger and stronger and as you get better, you have to pay more attention to these details. You have to pay more attention to the things that other people don't. That's what makes you bigger and better. You know, and I find it interesting how a lot of these people who preach that, you know, these little details don't matter really aren't progressing very fast. They really don't look that good. They're really not at the point where they have to do these things yet. But eventually they will. Everybody has to. Everybody has to get to the point where if you're going to be better, you have to push it up to another level everywhere. I mean, whether effort in the gym, cardio effort, you know, pulling carbs on a diet, whatever the fuck it may be, you have to kick everything up a notch. And the bigger and better you get, the harder it is. I think it was Fouad Abiad who said, it was in his video, he said that, you know, he was competing on the local level, and then when he got to the regional level, he was like, yeah, you know, this should be easier. And it got harder. Then he got to the national level in Canada, and it got harder. And then he turned pro, and it's even harder. And now he's, you know, top maybe 5 in most of the pro shows he enters, and it's even harder. He's pushing even harder. None of it got easier. If you think this shit is easy, think again. Find another sport. Because it's those little attention to details that I'm talking about, whether or not you know, scientifically how they work. As long as you know that they work and you do them, and they're working for you, that's all that matters. Biotraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biotraining.com is the blog, and where this is the Ian is right this time, but so is Jeff Seed Bicep, and we're out.